Hello, this is Jim Katsoulis, and today I want to talk about associative conditioning and easy weight loss. It's estimated that we are exposed to approximately 3,000 ads every day. And the one thing those ads all have in common is that they rely upon the principles of associative conditioning. Basically, associative conditioning is simply the process of combining two things that have nothing to do with each other in order to create a desired response, okay, for one of those things. The clearest example of that is Pavlov's dogs. Ivan Pavlov was a scientist who was studying the digestive tracts of dogs, and he recognized that every time the dogs saw the food, they would begin to salivate. So he came up with the idea to have an experiment where every time he would show him the food, he would simultaneously ring a bell. So he would ring a bell, show him the food, ring a bell, show him the food, show him the food, ring a bell, and you do this over and over and over again until eventually all he needed to do was ring the bell, and even though the food was not there, the dog would still salivate. So what does this mean to us? It's important because our minds operate in a similar way. Our minds associate things together that don't necessarily have anything to do with each other. Just like the bell and the food naturally have nothing to do with each other, but they're associated together so that the bell gets the same response as the food. This is important when it comes to exercise and weight loss and foods because it influences our emotional responses to the foods that we eat and how we feel about exercising and a lot of other issues that have to do with our bodies and weight loss. So I want to go through an example. I want to give you a very clear idea of how associative conditioning feels, okay, and how it influences us. So I want you to relax for a moment, just take a deep breath, and I want you to imagine that you're driving in your car, and all of a sudden in your rear view mirror, you notice this. You see these lights and you hear this sound. And I want you to notice the feeling that comes up. How does that feel? Right? There's a little bit of tension, right? And if it was real, in real life when this has happened, if it's happened, it's a little stressful, right? So this is something that's conditioned into us. It creates an emotional response. But if we change one thing in this experience, maybe if we add a different sound to it, notice how the feelings begin to change, right? And so now you may find yourself maybe even smiling, right? So it's because we've taken the sound of the laughing and combined it with this, we get a different response. Now I want to talk about one of the most popular associative conditioning rituals that happens, and that is the birthday cake. The birthday cake is one of these situations where one day of the year, everyone comes to see you, you get presents, you're the focus of attention, you get your own cake, and this is a special day for you, and every year it repeats. So what happens is all these feelings and emotions get linked up with the cake. They get linked up with the food. So if you fast forward years into the future, you're feeling lonely, bored, you're looking for some excitement, and the cake and those feelings get all intertwined, just like the bell and the food and the salivation all get intertwined. So that sometimes we start looking to the food for emotional reactions and responses that we should be getting from other areas. Now, if you look at and imagine that instead of birthday cake, you used to have exotic fruits, fresh exotic fruits every birthday, and that's what everyone gathered around and ate. Imagine if you had years and years of that conditioning, that every time there was a special occasion, you got exotic fruits and you sat around and you ate fresh exotic fruits. Think about, would that change the way that you feel about fruit on an emotional level, right? All of a sudden the fruit would become more appealing, become more exciting because it got linked with all those experiences, those pleasurable experiences. So this matters because the way that we feel about foods influences how much of them we eat. Now, if you think about exercising, what's your emotional response to that? When I say exercise, do you think of feeling strong, having a strong circulatory system, having a strong heart, strong muscles, body, stamina, right? Or do you feel tired? Do you feel bored, right? So when you think about exercising, the secret is to go to the level where you change the association so that you feel yourself feeling alive, feeling strong, feeling powerful, right? Feeling excited, right? Feeling all this energy. So these are the things that you want to work on. You want to go to this level and begin to associate in new emotional responses to the things that you want to do, rather than trying to fight against old responses that you used to have. When this happens, weight loss becomes easy. Thank you for listening, and remember, nothing tastes as good as thin and healthy feels.